Hey everybody, Steve here with another Fantasy Critic update video. I want to talk about some of the features that have been added since the last update, most of which are kind of small, but maybe you haven't noticed them. But in particular, this past weekend, I added a noticeable new feature that's also going to tie into the public leagues feature that I've been talking about over the past few updates. Um, so let's jump into that. So first off, minor celebratory note, but the site's now over 4,000 users, which is just fantastic, more than I could have imagined at the beginning of the year. Part of that is definitely due to the fact that the Easy Allies did a mid-year update video where they went over the halfway through the year status of their league, which was a great video to see. That definitely drove a bit of traffic to the site, but 4,000 users, I couldn't be happier. So as far as the updates go, let me check my notes here. So a couple small features. When you're choosing a game, either at draft time or at bidding time, it better indicates if a game is eligible in your league, ineligible in your league, or taken in your league. It's very easy to see that now. Also at draft time, when it comes your time to draft, there's a notification sound now. Someone had asked me for that. That was easy enough to do. If you have multiple bids active at one time, so during a week, you can reorder them. Before you had to cancel them and remake them in the order you wanted them. Now you can just flip them around and order them however you want. That's a little nice to have. And then two tiny things, but now when you're on a particular league page, you can see the name of the league in the tab up here. Before it just said league. And also the site should be a little bit faster across the board. I've added some more speed improvements to make the site a little bit more responsive. So those are just some simple features that I wanted to cover really quickly. But as far as some more interesting things go, the Master Games page has had some upgrades happen to it. One of which is the fact that the release date column is now sortable even for games that don't have an official release date yet. So for every game, if it's got an estimated release date, as it's called, as you can see on the site when it says estimated, things like fall 2019 will now sort before winter 2019, and you can see that here. Winter 2019 is after these October dates. Before, it didn't know how to do them at all. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just assigning a best guess date, which is what I'm sorting by behind the scenes. Simple thing. Also, you can now check off up here to show only unreleased games. So if a game's already come out, it'll be hidden, and then you can just see what's coming soon by sorting in release date order and only unreleased games. Another nice to have, particularly if you're looking to pick up games in the bidding system that are right about to come out. So that's a nice little thing. The biggest feature and the most recent thing that I just added this weekend is advanced projections. So what's that? You've probably noticed the projected points column before. That's what's right here where it says how many points you're projected to have at the end of the year. The way that that works right now, which what you're seeing in this mode, is it just takes the points you already have and adds in how many open slots you have or games that have not yet released that will release. So basically just how many games do you have to yet come out or yet to pick up at all. And it multiplies that by the average points received for any game on the site, which is about 7 points, I think. So it basically treats every game as the same. So what I wanted to do was try to come up with a way to actually predict how many points a particular game will get. And I actually asked for some help on Reddit, and I had someone that is now credited on the About page help out with that. What we did is he created an R script to take various statistics from the site, like average draft position, percent of leagues that have it, percent of leagues that counterpick it, how often it's bid on, things like that, to try to predict the critic score. And what it does is it looks at games that have already come out that already have critic scores and does linear regression on them to predict future games. So if I turn on advanced projections here, we'll actually see that. stuff at the top here will change to fit the new advanced projections way of projecting scores. And then every person's games here will have the projected scores next to the games. Now, they're not going to be perfect. There's no way we could perfectly predict what a game's score will be. But they're actually, I think, right about where they should be. And it's worth noting that we're not directly predicting critic score here. We're predicting how many points a game will get you. And that's why a game like The Last of Us Part 2 only gets you about 1 point, because that game is going to be a 90 plus when it comes out. But most people are near certain at this point that it's not coming out this year, so it's probably only going to net you 1 point on average, because it's probably not coming out at all. That's how that works. The counter picks show you the amount of points you're likely to lose, or if you get really lucky and you have counterpicked Anthem, or the Anthem that is yet to release, it'll predict you to gain points. It just inverts the score. You can see projected totals here, all that. Also, back on the games page, same thing. There's now this points column, which is if the game has come out, how many points would you get for that game? And if the game hasn't come out, how many points would you be projected to get for that game? The ones that are projected have a little tilde and they're in italics. Now, I'm actually curious what people think. I think that points is not the best column name here. I don't know what to call this header, because it's trying to capture a lot. It's, the fantasy points of a game that has fantasy points, or the advanced projection of how many points that game will get if it hasn't come out yet. If you've got an idea for what to call that, I'm very interested, because I don't think that points adequately captures that. So that's it for the new features, and the last thing I want to do is talk about what's coming next. So over the next month to month and a half, I'm going to be working on the public league feature that I've been talking about. So this is going to be a quarterly league instead of a yearly league, where instead of playing against 2 to 14 people, you're going to play against the entire site for leaderboards. And you're going to pick all your games right up at front at the beginning of the quarter, I think. And the way that's going to work is you're going to get a set budget that you're going to spend in order to add those games to your roster. And those games' prices will differ based upon their scores that are projected using the new advanced projections algorithm. So over the next few weeks or so, I'll make some posts on Reddit talking about the specifics as far as how this is going to work and looking for your feedback. I want to make this the best feature it can be, so if you've got thoughts as far as how this should work, I'm very interested. Other than that, thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon.